Hey, what's up guys, this is Dazed Spirit from Machinima Nightmare, and it's right now, I'm just kidding, I'm not gonna do that again. But anyways, today I'm gonna tell you guys about the fight that happened at my school yesterday. Now here's the thing that went down. There was 5 Russian guys against 5 Canadian people and a Canadian girl. So, first thing that happened is, they started talking shit, right? They're just standing there talking shit. We're over in the park behind my school. And you know how parks are, there's a whole bunch of trees and bushes and that kind of stuff. They started talking shit to the Russians started talking shit back, and this Russian guy walks up to the Canadian guy, he's like, "What? Come at me, bro." He's like doing the thing where he like hits his chest and puts his arms in there. He's like, "Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro." And the Canadian guy's just like, "Want me to come at you?" The Canadian guy is actually a fair bit taller than the Russian guy. He's taller and he's wider than the little skinny Russian guy. And the Canadian guy's just like, "What? What?" The Russian guy takes a swing at him. The Canadian guy takes a step back. He punches him in the face, and then he starts just like pushing him back. He just like starts rushing this guy. Rushing the Russian. Anyways, he just starts like pushing him back. They get pushed back into a bush and they just start like going at it. Then while that's happening, the Russian guy tries to jump in on the fight. Then one of the Canadian girls just like jumps in there and just like starts punching him in the face. Like, this chick is really beating this guy up. And this Russian guy's like, "What the fuck? I can't hit a fucking chick." So he starts like backing his shit up. And then right at that moment, 2 other guys that are standing there beside them, they're talking shit, start fighting too. And they're just going at it. And then over where the big guy and the little guy are still fighting, they're still going at it, right? They're just fucking pounding away at each other's faces. That sounds wrong. They're still punching at each other's faces, just like bam, 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 just punching each other in the face. And then when that chick, she like eventually backs off, and then some guy jumps in there and takes her place. They start fighting, so there's 2 fights going on one side and 1 fight going on the other side. Then on where the 2 fights are happening, another fight breaks out. So there's 3 fights on that side and 1 fight on the other side. Then on the side where the big guy and the little guy are fighting, they're just like going at it. Then the little guy trips and falls, and then the big guy just stands there. The little guy gets back up, swings at the taller guy. The Russian guy swings at the Canadian guy again, and the Canadian guy just like does a little like Anderson Silva backstep. He leaned back, you know, like that song, lean back, lean back. Well, he just leaned back and he just like punched him right in the face. Then he was kind of staggered and he like was like, "Whoa!" And then the Canadian guy was just standing there with his arms down, just like, "What? Come at me, bro! Come at me, bro!" And then on the other side, there's still 3 people brawling over there. And at this time, there's about 20 people just standing around watching, and they all have their phones and their iPods and all that kind of stuff out recording this. Because you know how it is when like a fight goes down at school, everyone just like whoops out the phone, starts recording that shit. But they're just going at it. They're like, bam, bam, just fighting. And then the cops show up, and at that moment, everyone just like scatters. If you ever watched a nature show where like when a lion starts like chasing the gazelles, then all the gazelles just like run in separate directions. Basically what happened when the police showed up. Everyone's just like, "Oh shit, 5-0," and everyone just splits off and starts running away. But yeah, that was a fairly interesting day yesterday, but pretty interesting Thursday if you ask me. So if you're wondering why there hasn't been very many videos in the last 2 weeks, that's because I've been hunting with my uncle. I know in the last 2 weeks there's only been about 2 videos compared to the first week of October when there was a lot of videos, but we went out hunting, we got a moose, we got a bull moose. It was a pretty decent size. And when it was all dressed out, like when we skinned it, gutted it, got all the bones out, just had the meat left, there was about 400 pounds of meat. So we have 400 pounds of moose meat in the freezer. We also got a whitetail buck, and my uncle took that back home with him, so I don't know how much that dressed out to. We got the moose, he got the whitetail. So yeah, we have some good game meat to eat for the next, say, year or so. So if we keep on eating that, if we don't buy beef anymore, it'll probably save us around $2,000, so that's not too bad. Yeah. While we were hunting, we actually seen a whole bunch of different kind of tracks. There's like tons of different kind of tracks. There's elk, moose, whitetail, wolf, cougar. Actually, Blaze Tragics and I went hunting with my uncle last year, and we went in the winter. We were looking for elk, and we were just randomly walking around in the bush, and we come across this really old cabin. And it was weird because a tree has fallen on top of the cabin, and as we're walking towards it, it's kind of in the pre-dawn hours, so it kind of looks kind of creepy, and you have the flashlights on it. And we're looking at it, and we go inside, and the tree fell right on top of where the bed was, and you can still see the bed frame and everything. Then all around the cabin, there's everything just scattered, like everywhere. And if you looked on the walls, it was a log cabin. If you looked on the walls, you could see bare scratch. You see bare claw marks all over the cabin. It was pretty interesting. And all the stuff from that cabin, there's a couple books. There is a couple pots and pans. There's some cans. I picked up a can and looked at it, and it was a Rogers sugar syrup can from around the 50s, and had bear tooth marks all over it. And these are really, really old bear tooth marks, like you can see, because in each of the puncture holes there is rust in all of them. That is really interesting. It's just a really creepy thing to find just around me when you're walking around going hunting. It's like an old abandoned cabin that looks like a bear has raided it, and a tree is falling upon it on top of the bed. The trapper that was using it might be dead. He may have died in the cabin. The bear could have killed him. A tree could have killed him, or he could have just been out like checking his trap line somewhere, and that could have killed him. Who knows? It was really old, or he could have not have died. He could have just like abandoned that cabin. But it seemed pretty weird have like abandon their cabin and leave all their food and books and stuff in that cabin. But yeah. But anyways, that is what has been happening to me over the last little while. But if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe, and you can follow me on Twitter at Dazed. Until next time, peace out.